Welcome to The Power of a Teacher, a podcast here to highlight impact educators are having in the world around us. I'm your host, Wanessa Edmond, and I am so glad that you can join us for our first episode for the summer months. I know it's been a while, but we are back better than ever. And today, I have the pleasure of welcoming no one else but one of our coaches from one of our schools, Coach Lubin.
Happy to be here.
I am so glad that you're here. Thank you for taking time during your summer to come and share your story with us.
My pleasure. I've seen the first episode and I'm just thankful to be here. Like I said, the ambiance is top notch. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be here.
All right, well, let's get it started. I know Coach Lubin, but you don't. So, Coach Lubin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
It's a lot to dive into, but it's funny hearing you address me as Coach Lubin because it took a while for me to adapt to that name, the coach part. But it started with my high school coach, Frank Martin, the head coach at University of Massachusetts, and before him was Anthony Grant, who is he's a head coach also. He actually coached with the Florida Gators and everything. But both of them were math teachers. And being that they were strong men, I didn't grow up with my dad or anything, but it was strong men in my life. Coach Martin, probably one of the meanest coach I've ever had, or the meanest coach. I used to call him a rattlesnake, and he used to do a lot of stuff to where at the time I thought he was just being mean for no reason. But as I got older, it's a lot of things that he was teaching me to persevere, to push through. Finding ways to figure things out, and I would say between that and knowing I was good at math, because my mom was good at math, my brother's good at math, so between the two, I'm like, I have to replicate what he did in my life. So that sort of steered the way along me being a coach and coaching basketball, and like, what are you gonna teach? Well, I'm good at math, I guess. And the math started coming easy to me. I'm like, okay, then I want to be at a high school. So in a nutshell, that's how the whole coaching thing was birthed. Yeah.
Definitely. And thinking about the power of a teacher, right? The fact that he impacted your life in such a way.
Yes. Man, teaching 25 years, and I have former students that are lawyers, former students that are doctors, firefighters. One of my former players now coaches with me, and to see him with his sons and teaching his sons values that I used to talk to him about when he was in high school. Now he's saying the same thing to his son. I don't want to say I'm getting old, but it's one of those things where I always ask God. I say, God, if I'm blessed enough to go to heaven, I would love for you to just play my whole life, like however long God allows me to be here. I said, the best gift you can give me, God, is to allow me to sit and just watch my whole life, how I made good decisions, bad decisions, how I end up here. I don't think he's going to honor that. I think he's honoring that now as far as my daughters and seeing them grow, watching their pictures and seeing them become from little babies to now women. And as I said, my former players, seeing them how they are fathers now, and they are not just fathers, like really good fathers, husbands, careers. I think God is not waiting for me to get to heaven.
He's allowing you to see it
now,
on earth.
And I get goosebumps, and I just get internally emotional thinking about it, because it's just a blessing. That's the best way I can put it. It's a blessing to see that you can look back and see the things that you've done and accomplished, and how they come in how you birth into people what Coach Martin birthed into me. So it's a blessing to see. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm not sure I've told you, but that's how this whole podcast started, right? Because I started going to school and realizing, like, do you know the impact that you carry? Like, you carry impact that you can change the trajectory of those kids' life. And then I started wondering about, because in the classroom, sometimes you might not see it, right? You might teach 9th grade or 10th grade, and you don't never see what those kids become. But, like, I've had the chance to see how my teachers impacted my life and who I get to be on a daily basis to other students, or even one of my students that give me a time, a run for my money. And then seeing her now pursuing her law career, it makes me realize like, nah, your impact goes further than you can ever imagine as a teacher. And
100%, 100%. I often think about the the students who, and at the age you catch them, they're not mature yet, so they
mm-hmm.
still try to figure things out. But I was having this conversation with my brother, and he was like, "Wherever you go, make sure you look good. Don't go out. Don't step out the house any kind of way." I say, "Woody, I do. I really do. I make sure I look the part." And I was having this conversation with him when I was in high school. I went to Miami Central, and I didn't have somebody that looked like me. As far as like that's the conversation we was having. I'm like, look at my hair, I got dreads and stuff like that, and I want my students to look at me and say, well, he doesn't fit a stereotype. Stuff they see on TV and stuff like that. You can be well spoken. You can have a career. You can have a family. I make sure my players see me with my wife. And I always joke, I got date night. I got practice early. I got date night. So I want them to see what a man that looks like them and how it's supposed to be, and it doesn't have to be the other narrative. That's not the narrative. That's not the only narrative about people that look like us. So I was talking to my brother about that. I'm like, it's so important because when I was in high school, I had black teachers, and
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't have somebody. I'm like, man, I can talk to him from the hood, and he's cool. Like I didn't have that kind of connection. I didn't think I could never see myself in that position.
Mm-hmm.
But for my students to see, um, I could be in this position. It's a blessing. So it speaks back to the impact that you're saying. I don't know how I'm impacting. I'm just doing the best job I can every day. But looking back and seeing how my former students and the accomplishments they have attained by now, it shows me I'm kind of doing something right. So I hope God bless me with more.
I'm sure you are, and I could share with you one of the best moment I had in one of your class. So I had walked in. I don't think you saw me,
Okay.
but you were talking to the kids about the population on a papka and then putting their phone
Oh.
downs at times, and it was like one of the most honest conversations.
Mm.
But it was seeing how the kids were like connecting the pieces, that it's not just like math, but it was like a whole human being aspect, like connecting it to the environment around them. It was pretty cool. Because think about it, one of them looked at me and was like, "Miss, you're on your phone."
Well, that's the thing with math. Math, you could be a millionaire knowing the math, but a lot of them don't see the math that's involved. I even tell them, even when you get dressed, you look at your color coordination and all the math is constantly circulating around us. So it's a joy for me when I'm teaching that I can always pull things that they do. Like one kid plays soccer and it's a certain way. Now we in the FIFA, and now you'll see the goalie stands at a certain angle when they try to, because if he stands at this angle, he blocks most of the goal, so you can't get the ball in. He's not gonna stand in the middle. So I'll say something like that, and if one of the kids plays soccer, they're like, "Oh."
No, definitely. In fact, I always think about when you shoot the basketball based
Oh
on like
yes.
the angle you
Oh
shoot it
yes.
from
Oh
can
yes.
guarantee whether it's gonna go in
Oh yes.
or it
Yes.
don't. Now I
Yes.
don't know how to play, but I've realized like when I jump a certain ways and shoot the ball at a certain
Yes.
ways, a
Yes.
certain angle is more likely to go in versus.
Math is everywhere, and especially as a basketball coach, I jokingly say I need you to be run parallel to him. So I throw my vocabulary words in there. I'm like, all right, form an isosceles triangle. So that means if he's there, this side and this side has to be what? Same distance, coach? Yes, there you go. So I guess I'm working on the SAT.
Listen, you are helping players on and off the court. Let me ask you this one question.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is one of like what is one message that you try to put into every player you get to coach?
Um, the main thing, I have daughters,
Okay.
and my daughters, and I know the ratio situation, and this is gonna sound corny, but I just want every young man I come across to know what it is to be a man. because I don't think there's enough men in the world. I don't think there's enough men who accept responsibility and want to protect and love and find it cool. So that's why I was like, hey, I got a date night. I got to, so I make sure they see, and some of them see it with their own parents, but I make sure they see me doing it because that's the one thing I want to instill in them is I want y'all to be, y'all young men right now. You guys are young men, and I want y'all to grow up and be a man. Like I have a former player, Jamaric, and he knew what he wanted to do. He proposed while he was in college, got married, and this kid, how he impacted my life, I'd be here all day to explain to you. And he's the player. And one thing that he loves his wife. He just got married. He loves his wife. He he they read the Bible together, go to church together. Like he's God led, and you can see the God in him that he's sharing when he's spending time with his wife. So little things like that. That's what I look to instill in my players is just to be a man, understand that you're gonna fail, but your job is to be a protector, is to be a provider, and also to love. You gotta love your wife. Because the more you love on them, the easier life will be.
All right. Listen, you're teaching them how to become, responsible
Yes,
men in the
yes,
future. So we
yes.
are grateful for that. Thinking when we talk about basketball
Hmm.
coaching,
Hmm.
people think about losses and they think about wins, right? How do you define success?
I think success is players like some of the players that I mentioned. I had a player who I coached a player who's in the NBA right now, and every time I talk to somebody, they always say, "You coach Paul Reed. You coach Paul Reed." And I'm like, "Yes, I." And Paul was a phenomenal player, phenomenal person, phenomenal family, just a great person. But Paul Reed is just a speck as far as the Jamarics, the Angel Burks, Tyrone Perry, Ruben Shepard. I can name them for days as far as because those are the guys I look back and I see what kind of husbands they are. I have Marcus Davis. He's into buying homes and flipping homes.
Oh,
Went
that's
to
pretty cool.
Rollins. He got married not too long ago. His wife is going to be a realtor lawyer. Like just sitting back and watching these players, because you see you encapsulize them in high school as they're never gonna grow up and stuff. But then you see them grow up and like getting an education, getting a career, and doing things with their lives. That's the success. That's the success for me. Like if I can look back at each of my players, and I had a player told me, a student told me once, said the one thing he regret he never played for me. And when he said that, I'm thinking, what's so special about me for you to say that? I don't know. He would have to answer that question, but just seeing where he's at right now, as you said, something influenced him through me to where he still did something, and to me, that's success. So success is not about them making the NBA. It's them, making a life for themselves. Because the first 18 years, that's all they get. They get what another 60, 70 years that they have to pay bills, go to work, have a family,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. So they got plenty of time to live life, but enjoy being a kid, work on the craft. So when you do get to that point, you are successful and flourishing at it. So, yeah,
All right. I'll definitely say thank you. Thank you for preparing them not only
I
for
try.
playing sports, but you're preparing them for the future that they have ahead of them, right?
Yes.
Thinking about it's summertime, what would you
Hmm.
tell a coach right now that's getting ready to coach for the new school year? Whether it's basketball, soccer, what was one thing you'll tell them?
Rest. Get plenty of sleep. Um, Catch up on the movies. Spend lots of time with the family and everything because once the season starts, it doesn't stop. And as a coach, especially a head coach, you make a commitment to a program. And um, for the 20 something years I've been doing this, head coach for 16 years, it's you don't put your family second because at one point I did. What I learned was how to intertwine my family with the program. But I'm so delved in to where I I don't I, I'm trying to find the right words. I don't put my family second, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, but it's a huge commitment. So I tell my wife in the season I'm in a tunnel. But when I'm out the tunnel, anything you need, you got me. So therefore, I'm cutting grass, fixing this. She's the fixer. She's the worker, but I'm the honey-do guy. Like all the honey-do list, I got you, because she gives me that time when I'm coaching to just focus on the program and being the best I can for these guys. So
Definitely. And then let's say this is my first year coaching. For all the first year coaches out there, what would you tell them as far as like programs, strategies?
first year is establishing your culture. It's not
Okay.
about wins or losses, and I didn't make that up myself. My mentor, Tyron Crawford, who's a preacher actually, that was his thing. He said the first year you want to establish a culture, establish relationship with the staff, the teachers. So you could lose every single game, but you want to definitely establish a sound relationship with the staff, with so the players understand what they're doing when they come in, so on and so forth. A routine culture of winning. Your winning, your W's and L's, your wins and losses, they don't happen until your third year. So your third year, that's when you can worry about that, because those other things been in place. If your first year you worry about wins and losses, then players will come and go. But if you focus on culture, then the players that come will stay and they will weather any storm that you go through as you're going through it. So don't worry about wins or losses. First year coaching, focus on setting the standards. Know what your standards are. Know what kind of culture you want to build, and just focus on that, because that's the foundation that's gonna allow you to build as high as you want. So.
So let's say what's the number one thing you focus on establishing when you think about culture for your team?
Well, part of it is being a man, being responsible, communication, doing the right things in the classroom. It sounds cliche, but those things are what's going to progress you beyond high school. So if you know I have to be in class at a certain time, I'm big on time. So if my players are late, we run. If we're saying now, and vice versa, I do extend practice longer, but I love when they're on time, and that's important to me, because then it translates to I have a job. You got to be at work at a certain time. You can't show up 15 minutes late. It's actually more peace. It's a peace of mind to show up 10, 20 minutes early. Then you can sit, relax, and be ready to do what you need to do, versus you're coming in. So all these things are like little routine stuff that we put within the program that I know is going to translate beyond the 18 years or the high school years that they're there. So those are the things I would say. Let's see what else. Just and being a hard worker, accepting failure, because sports, period, not just basketball, you fail a lot.
All
And
right.
the best person. Somebody said that about baseball. Is if I pitch the ball at you 10 times and you're able to hit it 3 times out of 10, three is 30%. If you can hit it 3 times consistently, they're gonna give you $100 million easy, and you only have to hit it 30% of the time. If you go 50, you're like it's crazy, but 30%, they giving you all this money. So that means you failed 70% of the time. So accepting failure, learning perseverance, pushing through, those are the things that it's okay as long as you're learning from it and you growing from it. That's one of the cultures, not failing, but learning from it and
Learning
growing
from
from
the
it is one of those things that I definitely want to, the culture I want to build. I try to build within my program.
Definitely, and if you think about it, it translates to the classroom, right? Because you want to build a classroom where kids feel like it's okay to fail, and
Correct.
then we learn from a failure,
Correct.
versus like, oh, I made a mistake. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. Let's learn from
Correct.
it, and then let's keep building.
Correct. Correct. And it's funny you say that, because I purposely, and I obviously I teach math, but if it's a new problem, some teachers, they go over the problem ahead of time because they don't want to not get it wrong, and they don't want to get it wrong in front of the kids. Like, oh man, I want them to think, I want my kids to see me fail, because then I can show them how I push through the failure. And if I can't figure it out in front of them, I'll tell them, hey, you guys gave me homework, and I make sure I do my homework, and the next day I do it in front of them. So when it's their turn, I'm like, you didn't see me panic when I failed, so why are you panicking because you got the question wrong? It's okay. learn from it, go home and study it, come back the next day, do like I do. And get it right.
I not living by yourself. Okay, I work out the problems.
Are you doing it ahead of time?
Yes, no, I need to work out every single problem because I have to think through what I'm gonna ask and then anticipate some of the misconceptions that could be in the room and
But
things
the
like
way
that.
you fight, the way you work through it, like I think out loud. So as I'm talking myself through it, no, you don't do this, no, you don't do that. So that's what I want them to do. So it's not something I'm just preaching. They're seeing it live. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, he's really, really working through this problem.
And I think there's been those moments for me where I have, like, where I'm transparent with my kids to be like, okay, let's
That's the
tackle
word.
this and allowing them to see. Like, I'll be like, oh, I think the answer is five. Like, and it's a misconception. If I notice the whole room got it, I think the answer is five. And then you'll see all the kids. Like, I did that one time. Even the AP in the room started to rework out the problem. And then the kids start talking to each other. And at one point, they're like, okay, Miss, you tell us why you think it's five, because we don't get five. But allowing them to just wrestle through some of those things so that they
100%.
get comfortable with, like, defending their answers, one, and then understanding, like, no, it's okay. We learn from mistakes.
And that's the best way. That's the best way to learn. I had a colleague once who had, very high in math, very, very smart. And she said her mom would, when she does her homework, she was taking calculus, and her mom would look over her shoulders and say, "Baby, I don't know. I don't think that's right," and then walk away. So now she's like, "Dang, that's mom. You're gonna listen to mom." So she'll go back, double check, triple check. If she finds a problem, she's like, "Damn, how did my mom see that? I didn't see it." Not knowing mom didn't know anything about calculus. Mom had no idea differential equations, integrals, none of those things. But for the fact that by her saying, "Baby, I don't think it's right," made her recheck her work and catching her mistakes. And that's what we tell parents also. Like, you don't have to know the material. Just give your child the space and time to practice it. And we'll take care of the rest.
Here you go. The space and time practice, right? To
Yep.
practice. So then, now thinking about practice, what would you tell a player that's now, like, let's say I'm a freshman and I'm getting ready to go to high school. I do want to play sports. What would you tell them to do during the summertime to better prepare?
Definitely work out. It's starts with the mind first. You have 4 years and you have stages to go through. The goal is not to be the person when you enter high school. The goal is to leave your footprints at the high school. And the way you leave your footprints at the high school is you want most programs, I know our basketball program, we have stuff over the summer for incoming freshmen. So you want to take advantage of that, see the campus, see the coaches, see the players that's there already, pick their mind. What are the coaches' do's and don'ts? What are the non-negotiables? So you're already putting yourself in a situation where you're ahead of the game and you're not having to figure it out. Now that requires nothing at all, because in August we do a lot of running. So a lot of them throw up. The sun is hot. All these, and sometimes I even run with them. So what are you complaining about? I'm running with you. But little things like that, like the returning players, I always send a text to them like, "Hey, make sure y'all running because I don't want you guys, throwing up when August comes." So what I would suggest is try to learn. It's like going to a new state or a new country. You do your research, so when you get there, you can enjoy it and you can navigate a little bit better because you have some pre-knowledge of it. So that's what I would tell a freshman that's coming in, like, see the coach, see what their habits are. Also see if it's something that is your style. If you're a person that, like, we like to run and jump and do a lot of, I like active basketball. Some coaches don't coach that way. So if you're a player where you don't like doing all that trapping and running and doing all that other thing, then I wouldn't want you to go anywhere else because that's what you're going to do when you come to us. But you do want to learn where you're going, learn the format, so when you get there, you're not like a total stranger to it.
How will they find that information?
Usually, if they play for their middle school, the middle, I know most coaches, we keep a relationship with the feeder schools. So the coaches they play for at the middle school usually has a relationship with the high school. So we can connect, We can give the information to the middle school. I go to all my middle schools and I meet with all the incoming freshmen. I have a printout for them to give the parents, the summer schedule where we practice, when we lifting, if we're playing in any kind of team camps or anything like that. So I have all that I give to the players, the incoming freshmen, to share with their families. So I go to all my middle schools and do that. Not all coaches does it, but if a coach does not do it, the player can still reach out to the school, get the coach's information, and email the coach and say, "Hey, what are you doing for the summer?" So I can come in and start getting myself acclimated to the program.
Thank you for sharing that. And so, if you're a player out there, you're interested in playing, so these are some valuable things. Because even for my kids that I tutor, we start in the summer. We don't wait August so you get started for the
Correct.
course. We start planning, like we're in July now. We start looking at, okay, what first semester is going to look like. Let's start closing some of our gaps and let's get familiar. Let's get back to the math. What about your players that's been there? So, what would you tell them? Or the one transferring to a new school?
Run.
Lubin said, "Run, guys. No wonder
stay,
why I play basketball."
stay in shape. Basketball is a running sport. But I'm fortunate. Like most of my guys, they play AAU basketball. Some of them playing really, like one of them is I think they're in Missouri right now. So they're playing really high level basketball to where they're continuously working on their craft, refining their tools. So what I would tell my returning players is I want to avoid saying the same thing. So if I'm asking you to talk on defense, and for those listening, talk on defense is major. So if it's talking on defense that I'm stressing, you want to continuously do those things no matter where you at and playing. So when you come to high school, you already have that down, and the coach does not have to say it over and over and over. So fundamentals are called just that. You could never stop working on fundamentals. So all players that's returning to their high school or my players coming back to me, you still have to do the stretching. You still have to work on your form shot. All this, we call it the boring stuff. You still have to do the boring stuff because the boring stuff is what shows up when times get hard. That's what saves you.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. All right. You gave the players some advice on what to do. Now, thinking about the parents that are listening to this show. So, if I'm a parent, what would you tell me to do to help my kid prepare for the school year?
It's tough for the parents. I do really understand that. My daughter played basketball, and I never once talked to the coach. Although I didn't agree with the coach, so on and so forth, at times.
All right.
But it's one of those things that I just have to. I looked at her happiness. She was happy. She was competing. She enjoyed her teammates and everything. So I would say, for the parents, don't try to make your child a player don't force a certain type of player on your child. So if you know that they love to shoot the basketball, so don't force them to be a defender. If they're defending really well, don't force them to play outside of their strength because they're not going to have fun because that's not their strength. So you have to trust the coach. If you want to sit with the coach and divulge what you think is what you want to see in a progressive 4 years from your son, that's a good conversation, I would say, for a parent to have. I love having those conversations because through those conversations, they're like, I want my son to average 20 points a game. Well, man, how many shots do they put when they leave the gym? Oh, no, they play on their Xbox all day. Okay, so do they go running on their own by? No, they do 50 to 100 push-ups a night. No, so I have to fight them to do it. So how exactly do you want to average 15 to 20 points a game if he's not doing certain things that's going to get him there? So the kid habits, last year, we read a book called Atomic Habit as a team. And the Atomic Habit mainly talked about, first of all, you're going to have a habit if I tell my players you need to do this so you can get better at it and they choose not to do it. So this is the habit I want you to develop. By you not doing it, you're still developing a habit, whether you like it or not. Right?
It's just not the habit that's going to give you the result that you desire.
Correct. So it's just working on habitual things that's going to get you to where you want to go. So if you want to average these points, you want to become a better shooter, you want to be an elite player, then you have to do what elite players do. And a lot of times it's getting rid of the distractions. And I think that's the hardest thing for kids to do these days is to get rid of the distractions and allow themselves to go through the boring stuff. Like their attention span is a lot less now. So they'll do it for 10 minutes and say, oh, okay, I'm okay. But then the elite guys where they want to go, those guys will do it for an hour and a half. Kobe used to have practices where he doesn't touch a basketball at all. He's stretching, working on defense, closing out, working on talking, jumping on the backboard, and like he's rebound. No basketball for like an hour to 2 hours. So if you can discipline yourself to do those things, so when it's in the game and it's needed, it becomes a habit to where he don't have to search for it. It's a muscle memory thing where he just does it naturally. So that's what. So I would talk to the parents, to talk to the coach, and have a a viable direction as to where you want to go. So don't say I want my kid to be a Kobe, but his habits are not Kobe. So be on the same page and also echo what the coach is wanting from your child. So they're not hearing two different things. Shoot the ball every time you get it. Coach is asking you to play defense. Coach, why you want my son to only play defense? Because he's the best defender we got. He can shoot, but defense is important. So that way the child is hearing one common voice or one common instruction and not think he has to appease you by trying to get 20 points a game. But yet when coach wants me to play defense, now you have a confused player and we're losing game.
All right, so you'll say one of your biggest advice to parents would be to talk to the coach,
Definitely.
ensuring that they are on one plan so that the kid hears the same
Correct.
message everywhere they
Correct.
go.
Correct. And don't rush it. You have 4 years. It's a progressive thing because every I, Paul was a great player. Tyrone Perry. These are great players I've coached. They played D1 basketball, and they started as freshmen. And Paul played freshman his freshman year, played varsity his sophomore year. Ty played freshman his freshman year, and started varsity as my point guard his sophomore year. So he didn't come in. He came in knowing his dad actually gave me a good advice. He said, or a good phrase. I said, man, I don't have any lions. I need some lions. He said, Coach, you may not have lions, but you have cubs. So he came in. But sometimes you say, I can't turn this guy into a lion. He said, you can't, but you can turn a cub into a lion. So Tyrone Perry came in as a cub. He just didn't have his fangs and everything yet. So by his sophomore year, he developed into where he can go out there and be a lion. So that's been my thing as a coach now is I want to identify the cubs. So as they get older, they become lion, and then hopefully go to wherever basketball takes them. But definitely, I would tell the parents talk to the coaches, be on the same page. That way, you're not confusing the player because it does confuse the player when you're saying one thing at home and we're practicing 7 days, 6 days a week on something else. So we want to be on the same page.
Definitely. Any other advice as far as like nutrition, any other things I could do as a parent? Like, what role do I play in helping
As
them
a
succeed?
parent, yes, lots of water. The fruits, the vegetables, eating healthy. Those things are important. But when I played, when I was that age, I ate terribly. I ate. I'm Haitian, so rice, fried pork, you name it. I was eating everything. But I also played basketball for like 6 hours a day. So I think I was burning it off. Now I can't do that
Mm-hmm.
anymore. But I do know and believe that if you put the right things in your body will work more efficiently. I wasn't privy to that information at that age. So honey buns it was and Tootsie Rolls and all
But
that
I'm
stuff.
sure you're encouraging them to do
No, I tell them eat
that.
healthy. You gotta eat
Eat
healthy.
healthy. I
Yes.
get some good sleep.
Oh my goodness. Sleep is so important. Like do you can work yourself to no end. And if you don't get enough sleep, whatever you're working for will never come to fruition. I didn't understand that until I was reading something and the guy was explaining like your body need the rest. So if I'm lifting weights every day and I'm like, how come I'm not getting bigger? It's because you need the sleep so your body can actually rest so it can produce what it is you want it to produce. So sleeping is that's super important. I know it's hard for some people at times because they struggle sleeping, but sleeping is super important.
Definitely. Well, I've been thinking about the new school year that's coming up. I know you're stepping into a new role. What are you most excited about? You're not just gonna be coaching players. You're gonna be coaching teachers this year.
I'm excited about everything. Um, it's soothing and refreshing because the whole math coach position that I'm in, I've been told, you're a pretty good math teacher. Thank you. I didn't, I'm just doing my job. But as the math coach thing started to come about, it's soothing to know other people see that in me because I'm like, do you think I do a good job? And you were one of those people like, yeah, you'll be great at it. And I look in the mirror, I'm like, really, would I be great at it? So it's almost like I'm building. It's like the support system. So it's going to make me do a good job. I have to do a good job because so many people are like, oh, you're going to be great. You're going to be great. And I don't want to look back and fail anybody, So I know I'm going to give it my best. My thing to my players, my students, my wife, you want to be able to sleep sound at night. So that means you do the best you can. You can't go past that. If you know you did your best, you sleep good. If you know you cheated and you did a job haphazardly, then you probably can't sleep at night. So my goal is to sleep okay at night. But I am excited. I'm excited to share my expertise. I'm excited to um, I to be part of because Wakaiba is shifting in a upward position, and I'm not that it's not already moving. It's actually moving in that direction. And when it gets there, I want to be there and celebrate it,
All
like because that's
right.
one of those things. Because you were part of the fabric of doing it. So with Mr. Russell doing, he has his vision and he's he loves the kids. He loves the kids. He loves his job, and he's fighting tooth and nail to put Wakaiba, to push Wakaiba in that upward position. And I want to be there when he takes him there. I don't want to be at somewhere else and like I remember. I want to be
You want to
there,
be there to
and I want to
celebrate.
be a part of it too.
Definitely. Well, I'm excited for you. I'm excited
Thank
for
you,
your new role. I'm
thank you,
excited for all that you will accomplish this coming year.
thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to share your expertise with us, with our players out there, and with our parents that are wondering how can I better support my athletes. I know you mentioned a book. Would you encourage parents to read that with their kids over the summer? Is that
That book is amazing. Atomic Habits, um, Mindset,
mm-hmm.
and Teammate Matters. So as a team, we read Atomic Habits and Teammate Matters. But mindset is big also. But Atomic Habit, I would just advise athletes to read it. I would advise anybody that's trying to, and you do this. You're not afraid of failure. You advance. It's true. We talked about this prior, and I said to you, you don't have a fear, and that's a good fear not to have. Okay, this didn't work. Let me try it that way. That didn't work because critical thinking, right? Because now it's like with AI is taking away critical thinking from this generation, but you want to see if this didn't work this way, what else can I do? Not that I can just type into Google, what else do I do? And Google tells me. But I want to be able to figure out with my own hand, my own mind, with my own experiences, because it's going to push me further along in the future than Google telling me, oh, just press this button and you'll be just fine. I won't remember it down the road. But if I struggle through it, I will remember it down the road. So,
All right. Well, I hope all of you love reading. That wasn't my strong suit, but I started reading. Okay, I started reading
mine
some
either.
books, picking up some books, and picking up some of the knowledge there. So if you're enjoying your summer, grab a book this summer and read maybe one of the recommendations that Coach Lubin had for you. And now we've come to my favorite part of the show, where I get to read a letter written by students to one of our teachers that have impacted their life. Dear Mr. Bowen, I've had many teachers throughout my life who inspired me and invested in my development. But the most memorable and meaningful teacher I ever had was Mr. Bowen at Edgewater High School. You didn't just teach us lessons from a textbook. You taught us about life and what real learning actually looks like. That's something I'll always carry with me. I'll never forget the words you shared or the courage you showed throughout the year I was in your class. You spoke with honesty and purpose, and it made a lasting impact on all of us. Teachers like you don't just educate, they shape people. You made learning feel meaningful, and you showed us that school wasn't just about grades, but about growth. What stood out the most was how real you were with us. You helped me understand that teachers are human too, that they have their own life experiences, struggles, and wisdom to share. Before your class, I used to think teachers were just there to make our lives harder, but you completely changed that perspective. Your relatability, your openness, and your dedication to your students truly made a difference in who I am today. I wish you knew just how important you were to all of us. It wasn't something people always say directly, but you could feel it. Students will talk about how great of a teacher you were, and you'll walk through the walls and or come out during lunch. You'll hear so many voices calling, "Hey, Mr. Bowen!" That kind of respect and appreciation can be forced. It's earned, and you earned it. I truly hope you have a happy and fulfilling life. And whether you are still teaching in a classroom or not, I have no doubt that you are continuing to impact and inspire young minds wherever you go. The difference you made in my life and in so many other lives will never be forgotten. Kiana. All right. Well, thinking about this, if you have a teacher that have impacted your life and you never had a chance to say thank you, go to our website, powerofateacher.com, and feel free to submit your letter, and it could be one of those we read throughout those episodes. Thank you again, Lubin, for sitting with us today.
Thank
I
you.
truly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the wisdom you shared.
My pleasure.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer and that
sleeping.
you have an that you have an amazing school year.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to all our viewers, thank you for joining us for another episode of Power of a Teacher. Remember, you carry impact, so every day that you go out there, you get a chance to impact a life.